Hi everyone, and welcome back to the channel. So, as you can tell from the title and the thumbnail, this is a library book haul. And it's not going to be a traditional book haul in the sense of you see all the books I got in one go. I am doing this as a little by little video, and meaning that as I borrow a book or books from the library, I will show you what I'm borrowing at any given point in time throughout March. And I will show, if it's physical books, I will show you when I pick them up and then when I return them. And then if it's audiobooks, I'll do a screen recording of when the holder's ready and when I borrow it and then when I return it. So that is the whole game plan for this video. And I started this like a little bit early. It's still like the last week of February and I'm just getting off of my February reading vlog, which in that video, it was basically all I was doing was reading books that I was borrowing from the library. And that was kind of in conjunction, it was in conjunction with Black History Month, because February is both Black History Month and it is Library Lovers Month, at least here in the US. And so those two, I kind of had them conjoined so that I could force myself to read more books by and about Black voices and about Black voices and about Black people. So I actually still have my stack of books from the last little bit. And I finished Heaven and Earth Grocery Store just to get like, it's been a while since I finished this by the time this video is up. Gave it a 4 stars. So yeah. So I still have this stack of books that I need to return. And then I have a book that I'm going to add to the free books section. But this March is just focusing on borrowing books from the library with no other in conjunction qualifications for what exactly I'll be borrowing from the library, because I noticed I have been trying to build out my collection of books that are not white centric and are not Eurocentric, or at least not Eurocentric from the point of view of white people. So that is like, I've been trying to build out that collection, but I don't have a lot. So that's why I was like, okay, I need to force myself to read to figure out what I want to buy. So I will be going through what I read during February and see which ones I want to have on my shelf and want to feature on my shelves. But this past month, March at least, it's just I'm borrowing books from the library. And I will still be reading books on my bookshelf. Where's the book I'm currently reading? From my physical bookshelf. A Fellowship of Librarians and Dragons by J. Penner. I finished the first book, which was Fellowship of Makers of Magic, which I loved. So I'm reading this one next. And so it's this reading vlog, or it's not, I'm not intending this as a reading vlog. This video is showing books. I'm mainly focusing on the books that I'm borrowing from the library, but I've been reading them in conjunction with the books on my bookshelf, because I've also been thinking about doing an immersive read-through of The Hobbit and Lord of the Rings. So that's going to happen at some point. I don't know if I'm doing a reading vlog for it or not, although I'm thinking about it. So that's a plan, and the reading vlog for that is a tentative plan. But also I have 2 other points for wanting to showcase this video. One, because we should be trying to borrow from the library at all times of the year and not just during Library Lovers Month. Again, I don't know if anywhere out of the States has a similar month or when that month would be. And so at least US wise, we should be borrowing from the library at all times of the year because it's free. And yeah, sometimes if you might have a late fee or a damages fee, but it's free. And 2, like, we should be trying to read stories by and about people who don't look like us. So me, I'm very much white. something I don't talk about a whole lot. I might have talked about it. I might have mentioned it here. So I'm an 8th Japanese, but I do not look it. And I like talking about it because it's a callback to my heritage, but I don't like talking about it at the same time because I am white as a freaking sheet of paper. My grandmother on my dad's side, she passed away in 2023. Oh gosh, has it been 3 years already? A little under 3 years. It's been a little over 2 years. She passed away in October 2023. She was half Japanese. So yeah, it didn't come through to me. The only thing that came through to me from the Japanese genes was being on the shorter side, because all of my mom's side of my family, going on a tangent here. My mom's side of the family, all tall, all 5'5" plus. Even my cousins who are younger than me, I mean, they've all hit their growth spurts. But my cousins, who are half Latinx, they're both 6 feet. My one cousin, the older one, he's at least 6 feet, if not a little bit over. The younger one is probably a little bit under 6 feet, but close to 6 feet. But everyone on my mom's side of the family is tall. And even my other cousin, so those are the 2 cousins I mentioned were from my mom's younger sibling, and then my other cousin from my mom's older sibling, also 6 feet. My sister, she's not close to 6 feet, but my sister's 5'7"-ish, 5'7" adjacent. And I'm I don't know how tall I am exactly, but I always say about 5'5". So, oh gosh, I did not mean to be flipping off of there. Sorry about that. So it's the only thing, I'm not gonna make a joke. But yeah, the only thing that Japanese genes did for me really was make me short. So yeah, that's all I'll say. I complain about that a lot, but I don't complain about it on social media because again, I'm white. And I'm only an 8th Japanese. So anyway, getting back on topic, I do not remember what I was saying. Library. Borrowing books or reading books about people that don't look like us. That's the whole point. And if your physical bookshelf of the books that you own does not represent that or does not look like that, that's totally fine. But that should not be stopping you from reading books by people who do not look like you and about people that do not look like you. So, borrowing from the library. And this video was also inspired by, I'm mentioning her in the description below, and I'm also linking her video. It's from What Michaela Reads, and specifically in her video titled I Have a Book Buying Problem. When did she post this? This was from this is from the day I'm starting to record this. Today is the 25th. It's Wednesday the 25th, so we're literally midweek in February. And again, I'm starting this just to give this little explanation here. So this was also inspired by her being hey, because she was talking about we have so many book buying hauls, but we rarely have any library hauls, so I'm gonna start that here. Even with my library lovers reading vlog last month, this is what we're doing here. Well, not last month, this month. You get my point. This is going up in April. This is about March, and I'm talking about February, and I'm in February right now. I'm confused. And I'm not feeling good. I've kind of been up and down. So, anyway, I'm going to take you along with me for my March library haul. And again, this is going to be kind of in the moment, just as I borrow stuff. And I might give you star ratings at the very least, but this video is not intended as a review video or a reading vlog. It's just intended to show you what I'm borrowing from the library. So, I'll take you along with me. Okay, my hair is up because I am hot and tired, and I don't want my hair in my face. Update. First of all, I am borrowing my borrow started for the, is it the Troublesome Woman Book Club? I have it updated on my Storygraph, so let me just double check that name real quick. It's by Marie, I'm blanking on her last name. The Book Club for Troublesome Women by Marie Bostwick. Okay, to give you a description, and I'm gonna move you over here real quick. In the early 1960s, by early 1960s standards, Margaret Ryan, Viv Buschetti, and Bitsy Cobb, suburban housewives in a brand new planned community in Northern Virginia, appear to have it all. The fact that all doesn't feel like enough leaves them feeling confused and guilty, certain the fault must lie with them. Things begin to change when they form a book club with Charlotte Gustafson, the eccentric and artsy new neighbor from Manhattan, and read Betty Friedan's just released book, The Feminine Mystique. So far I'm not that far into it. So far it seems interesting. I'm liking it from what I can gather so far. Again, I'm not super far into it. So I still have to return these books, or at least return these 3 books. I still have to do that. I haven't gotten around to it yet. I still have time to return them. I haven't gotten around to it yet. And then I think I'm going to put this book into the library's free section. And this book is Catherine by Anya Seton, and it was gifted to me by my grandmother. I'm probably not gonna read it though. It seems interesting, but like I don't think I'm gonna read it, and there's probably someone who will enjoy it much more than I do and will enjoy the old appearance of it. So yeah, that's the plan. Hopefully I can do this tomorrow if all things go to plan, because I do have some books to pick up at the library tomorrow, and I want to do that before going to La Quinta over the weekend. So I'm trying to keep this vague because I'm trying to keep this, I mean, it's in March, but I'm trying to keep this as vague as possible. And plus too, this video is going up after I go to La Quinta, so it's not a huge deal. But anyway, I have a girls trip with some really good friends up to La Quinta, since one of my friends has a house in La Quinta. So yeah, we're gonna have a good time, and I'm hoping to grab some books from the library so that maybe I don't have to buy too many books at the Barnes & Noble there. But I have one in mind that I'm gonna buy there, maybe 2 that I'm gonna get there. But we'll see. I'll keep you all updated. I am doing a vlog for that, so you'll come along for that vlog. I don't know when the vlog's gonna be up though, so I'll see if I can move stuff around with what I've scheduled already. But anyway, I will see you all in my next update. My hair's up because I was just cleaning some stuff and I'm kind of hot. But I wanted to show you what I got from the library. First up is Jubilee. What's her name? By Margaret Walker. Do I know what this is about? No. It's an old book. Do I know what it's about? No. But I saw it in a recommendation post where it was, if you like these popular books by white authors, try these books by black authors. And this one was the one recommended instead of Gone with the Wind. That's all I know about it. So let's actually look it up real quick. So you are coming here for a second. I am hot. Not looking very great, but you know what? I've always tried to be casual on this channel, so that's what we're doing. Casual. So, yeah. I do have another channel that I'm trying to start up. I'm not linking it to this channel quite yet, just because I want to get that started and going, and I want to get that one on its feet before I start connecting it to this channel and then my crochet channel. It's gonna be a while before that channel is like up and going. Okay, let's see. Oop. Let's see, where's search button? Explore. Okay, so I need a search. Okay, I'm gonna move you over here for right now because apparently it's right here. Jubilee by Margaret Walker. Okay, so that's what this one is. When was this published? 1966. Okay. So the description, here's the classic and true story of Veery, a child of a white plantation owner and his black mistress, a Southern Civil War heroine to rival Scarlett O'Hara. Veery bears witness to the South's power and opulent power. Veery bears witness to the South's pre-war opulence and its brutality, to its wartime ruin and subsequent promise of reconstruction. It is a story that Margaret Walker heard as a child from her grandmother, the real Veery's daughter. The author spent 30 years researching the novel so that the world might know the intelligent, strong, and brave black woman called Veery. The phenomenal acclaim this best-selling book has achieved from readers black and white, young and old, attests to her success. It has a 4.35 rating on the Storygraph. So that is good to read. Okay. And then the next book I have, what should be a really quick read. I'm surprised at how small this is. It's The River Has Roots. It's by the same author of This Is How You Lose the Time War. And this is by Amal El Motar. I don't know if I would like This Is How You Lose the Time War, but I do want to read more by her. Okay, let's see. So not including, so this has snippets of her upcoming short story collection. When was this published? I have no idea. 2025, so last year. Okay, so not including the snippets and the acknowledgements and about the author. This is, if I can get to the previous page, this is 99 pages. Wow, it's under 100 pages. I can probably knock this out in one read, in one sitting. And the illustrations in here are really nice. I like it. And I like how it's like a black and white. I kind of like this style. I like this style. So let me pull up this one in the Storygraph so I can mark it as to read. The River Has Roots to read. So this one, okay. In the small town of Thistleford on the edge of Fairy dwells the mysterious Hawthorne family. That's this one. There they tend and harvest the enchanted willows and honor an ancient compact to sing to them in thanks for their magic. None more devotedly than the family's latest daughters, Esther and Isabel, who cherish each other as much as they cherish ancient times. But when Esther rejects a faithful suitor in favor of a lover from the land of fairy. Not only the sisters bond, but also their lives will be at risk. So that's what this is about. It's a short read. So I'm just, maybe it's just me, but I am a teensy bit concerned how fulfilling that will be in 99 pages. That's just me, and that's just because I'm used to books that are 200 plus pages. That's a me thing, so I'm going into this with an open mind, and we're gonna try it out. And then the third book, let me pull it up here first. If I can spell. I can't spell, apparently. Okay, it's taking. Okay. There it is. There's just a lot of books called this. Okay. So the next book that I borrowed was The Cabinet of Curiosities. A historical tour of the unbelievable, the unsettling, and the bizarre by Anne Mankey, and this is based off of his podcast of the same name. So that's what this one is. This is not including the acknowledgements and not including the sources. Yeah, not including the acknowledgements or the sources. This is 296 pages. Okay. Let's see, to give you the description, the podcast, The Anne Mankey's Cabinet of Curiosities, has delighted millions of listeners for years with tales of the wonderful, astounding, and downright bizarre people, places, and things throughout history. Now in Cabinet of Curiosities, the book, learn the fascinating story of the invention of the croissant in a country that was not France, and relive the adventures of a dog that stowed away and went to war only to help capture a German spy. Along the way, readers will pass through the American state of Franklin, which watched Abraham Lincoln's son be rescued by his assassin's brother, and learn how too many crash landings inspired one pilot to leave the airline industry and trek for the stars. So that's what this book's about, and I'm really excited to read it. So I think what I'm going to do is I think I'm going to start off with this one, just knock this one out and get you all my thoughts, or get you all my rating, because I'm not really intending this as like a review video. So I'll just give you my rating and basic thoughts. And then I do have my La Quinta trip this weekend, so I'm going to take the Hobbit, because I am doing my Middle Earth read-through, immersive read-through, and I'm working on the Hobbit. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to like read a chapter of this Jubilee and read a chapter of Cabinet of Curiosities and see which one I would want to take with me to continue on my La Quinta trip. So that is the plan, and I will come back to you with my next updates. So first and foremost, I have decided not to do the La Quinta vlog just because it feels like it's kind of been a whirlwind, and I'm really trying to just be in the moment. So La Quinta vlog is just off the tables. I might do, like, if we stop by Barnes & Noble, I might do a little video of that, but we'll see. I wanted to update you. I have returned the book club for Troublesome Women, and I have DNF'd that. I was about 5% in, roughly. Sorry about that. For me, I said this in my explanation on the storygraph, but for me at least, it wasn't doing what I was expecting it to do. So, yeah, I do have one of the library books with me, so I'm going to try to read, settle down, and then go to bed, because I need to go to bed. I need to go to sleep. So, yeah, that's the plan right now. and I'm just gonna keep chugging along. And then I've also borrowed Red, White, and Royal Blue from Libby, and I've also placed a hold at my physical library because I was convinced to watch the movie by 2 of my friends, and surprisingly, I liked the movie. It's not that I was expecting like to dislike it or anything. I just haven't really liked recent romance movies, so I just wasn't expecting to like it, and then I really enjoyed it. So I'm gonna read the book, I'm gonna listen to the audiobook and read the physical book. So maybe I'll do an immersive with that, but we'll see. I'll see you all in my next update. Okay, so the hair is up because I'm kind of hot right now. I wanted to give you an update. I was just moving something there. I am back home, as you can tell. I didn't get a whole lot of reading done. I was listening to the audiobooks, mainly Red, White, and Royal Blue, getting ready and then starting to settle down in the evenings. So other than that, I didn't get a whole lot of reading done while in La Quinta, which is fine. I kind of figured I wasn't going to, but I realized I forgot to update. I did read The River Has Roots by Amal et Mokhtar. I don't, if I'm repeating this, I apologize. I don't think I am. Overall, this was a good read. It kind of was as I was expecting. Like, I really enjoyed it, and I feel like it wrapped up well enough for what this set out to be. Sorry, I have a little bee jar. I have a Ziploc bag of Cadbury dark chocolate eggs in here. I'm just moving around so I can access my library book spot on the shelves. Anyway, so I feel like like I was saying, it wrapped up nicely for what it set out to do. But I don't, for me at least, I would have wanted a little bit more. And I feel like it was just all slightly rushed. And I wanted things to be fleshed out a little bit more, drawn out a little bit more. Not that it necessarily needed to be drawn out more. It's just for me and my personal preferences. I guess I don't do super great with really short books. So it's like, it's a me thing, not the book. It's me, not you. So overall, I think I gave it like in the 3 to 4 star range. I did like it. I might get my own copy because like I like the idea of it. I don't know, because I'm like, did I like it enough to have my own copy on my bookshelf? I don't know. So yeah, I did slowly read bits and pieces of this while I was in La Quinta. I read a little bit here and there in the mornings while I was eating. Oh, I left my book right there. Okay. Just kind of putting it back. Like, I was jumping around a little bit with this, but I am reading it, and like I was just jumping around with it because I was just like, I want to see what stories just jump out at me from the start, what titles jump out at me from the start. So, and it was like in the morning while I was having breakfast, so that's why I was just like, I'll just pick and choose right now. But what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna start from the beginning and go through it all at once. So that's this one. I'm gonna set this one aside so I can set it on top. I have not started reading Jubilee yet. Excuse me. So I haven't started this yet, just because it's like, oh, I'm gonna sneeze. Okay, I am back. Anyway, like I said, I have not started Jubilee yet. I don't know if I gave the description to y'all. Yeah, I did. I remember looking it up on the story graph. I do want to read this. It's just, I might renew this one and then just return the other two once I'm done with Captain of Curiosities, because I do want to at least try to start reading this, because I like the idea of, what's it called? Gone with the Wind. I like the idea of it. It's just, I think for me, that was just, ideally it would be something I liked, and as I said, I like the idea of it. I don't think I could ever really get into that one, just with everything around that book and the movie. Like, I don't think I could get behind it. Not even just that, that's not like as important. Like, I don't think I would ever really get around to reading Gone with the Wind or watching the movie. I've seen clips, I've seen the pretty famous clips, but it's like, I don't think I'll ever get around to actually reading it. So I feel like this would be like a good replacement for that. So yeah, that is the update that I have for you right now. I am, to finish up this update, actually, I am about an hour in. Oh geez, tree bird almost fell. I am about an hour into Red, White, and Royal Blue. Actually, about 2 hours, closer to 2 hours. So far, we're going good. I'm enjoying it. I didn't explain this super well when I was at La Quinta, but we had watched. So basically, that update, to give like a refresher, I returned the book club for Troublesome Women just because I wasn't feeling it. Ideally, it's something I should like, but I just was not feeling it. Maybe I'll return to it. Right now, it's a softie enough. Might return to it. Maybe I just need to borrow the physical book from the library and try it that way. But I did return that, and I'm borrowing the audiobook for Red, White, and Royal Blue. And I've also placed a hold on the physical book, just because my two of my friends that I was with in La Quinta, the third friend, she was taking a nap, and we watched Red, White, and Royal Blue. And I am notorious for, like, ideally, I like romance stuff, and I like the idea of most romance stuff. It's just the way a lot of the tropes are used. I was explaining this to my friends, I was explaining this to one friend that, like, we've like connected a few times, but we just hadn't, because this was a friend through our common friends. We just hadn't connected in the way where it's like we sat down and talked about this. And like my friend, our shared friend, she's heard me talk about this all the freaking time. So, and I've talked about it on this channel before, but I was telling this friend where it's like, I don't like the way a lot of the tropes are used in more recent romance stuff, because 9 times out of 10, 99% of the time, it feels like they're using tropes just for the sake of having tropes, rather than the tropes actually adding to the plot of the movie or the book. It's there for the fact that it's a popular trope. They're using enemies to lovers for the sake that it's enemies to lovers, or you get like the trope name drop, rather than, like, we were talking about this too, because it's like enemies to lovers. You get the fact that it's like enemies to lovers rather than actually being truly enemies. Like, there needs to be like the hatred, even if they don't necessarily hate the person. I was talking about this with another friend, actually. Even if they don't hate the actual person that they end up lovers with, it's like you hate their side. And it's like there needs to be that genuine, very much dislike, if not actual hate, between both parties towards each other. And more often than not, like, it's something I've talked about on this channel, more often than not, it's one person, usually the female, the FMC, the female main character, hating the MMC, the male main character. And then he's just like, oh, I've loved you from the start. It's like, okay, then that wasn't enemies to lovers. Because it's like, you guys need time. Like, if you guys are enemies to lovers, if you're on the light side and the dark side, you guys need a little bit of time to get to know each other. Or you need to be put, I mean, I hate the one bed trope. You need to be put in that single room, one bed trope scenario to start getting to know each other. So it's like for me, it's like, I'm not expecting these books to be realistic, but it's like, I need them to be situationally realistic. So anyway, getting back on track, like, I'm notorious for not liking romance because of the fact that 9 times out of 10 it feels like the tropes are just there for the sake of having the trope in the book and the story, rather than the trope actually being useful for the plot, and the trope actually being situationally relevant to the plot. Like rivals to lovers, like if you think like academia and they're rivals to lovers, that's not enemies to lovers, that's like rivals to lovers, because they're on the same side, they're both in academia. So no, like, unless they're spouting 2 different forms of teaching, then it's rivals to lovers, because they're both technically on the same side of being both in academia. So it's rivals to lovers. Arguably, like, if they're going for the same position, arguably that could be enemies to lovers. But for me, that would still be rivals to lovers, because it's like, you're sort of on the same side if you're both going for the same position and you're both qualified for the same position. So, like, anyway, we're getting off tangent. So we watched Red, White, and Royal Blue, and I was like surprised how freaking invested I was. I was just like, oh my god. And like, my friend and I, my mate, like the main center of our friend group that we all connected through, like, I was telling her, I was like, we banter a lot, where it's like this mean, playful banter, where it's like, we know we mean it in good humor, but I was just like, I hate you so much. And our friend, she was like, well, she put it on, so it was a girl's trip, and I was just like, no, I'm blaming you. So I was just like, I can't believe how much I'm liking this crap. So I was like, okay, I have to borrow the audiobook and listen, because I can borrow the audiobook. Okay, and then there's the differences between the audiobook and the physical book, because the audiobook, at least when it was recorded, had the Harry Potter references, and since the author is queer, doesn't support J.K. Rowling, which is, yes, great, perfect. In the revised, it was transitioned to Star Wars references, so I was just like, I would probably get the basic Star Wars references, but I was just like, you know what, let's see what the differences are, let's see where they happen. So I'm only going to mark it as the one read for this year, but I will be borrowing both, just so I can at least continue reading it until the physical is ready, and I can kind of pop back and forth between the two. But that is my update for this video, and I will come back to y'all when I have another update, and or I think I have some books ready at the library, so I might go get those tomorrow from the library. Yeah, I think that's the plan, and when that happens, I will take you all with me. The hair is up again because it's been hot. I should get these out of the way real quick. She's just doing stuff with me, and we're already at like the 40-minute mark for this video, which is fine. Even though this video isn't intended really as a vlog, it is kind of intended. I had a thing. Oh, it's in my bag. it is intended to be like more casual, longer drawn out, because I'm talking about a lot of books here over the course of 1 month. So to talk about the books that I just picked up, I dropped off The River Has Roots, and I picked up 3 books. The first one, I'm going to talk about the non-romance ones first. The first one is, this is from the Mystical Library. First one is Erasing History, How Fascists Rewrite the Past to Control the Future by Jason Stanley. So, yeah, it's going to be a bit hard to see at first. There we go. Just put it in front of my face. So, the human race finds itself again under the threat of a rising global fascist movement. In the United States, democracy is under attack by an authoritarian movement that has found fertile ground amongst the country's conservative politicians and voters, but similar movements have found homes in the hearts and minds of people all across the globe. To understand the shape, form, and stakes of this assault, we must go back to exact lessons from our past. So that's what this one's about. And then Buffalo Hunter by Stephen Graham Jones. I also, let me take this out, got a free bookmark from my library. It's Griffin Observatory 90, so I'm assuming the 90th anniversary, bookmarking the stars. She just, like, it's funny, the librarian on duty, she just put it in my bookmark and didn't explain, so I love that. She's like, here's a bookmark. I have to put that in my bookmark spot, which is right here, actually. I keep my bookmarks in here, so I'm going to put that in real quick. So, Buffalo Hunter by Stephen Graham Jones. A diary written in 1912 by Lutheran pastors discovered within a wall. What it unveils is a slow massacre, a chain of events that go back to 217 Blackfeet dead in the snow. Told and transcribed in interviews by Blackfeet named Good Stab, who shares the narrative of his peculiar life over a series of confessional visits. This is an American Indian revenge story written by one of the new masters of horror, Stephen Graham Jones. So I've seen this, I've had it recommended, and I've been thinking about buying the audiobook through Libby, and I just figured give it a read, see how I like it. I'm not a big horror person, but we'll see how this goes. And it's in big text. So hopefully it won't be too long of a read. And lastly but not least, I did mention that I had hold on this book and it was ready. Red, White, and Royal Blue, the physical book. I am listening to the audiobook. Oh, there's drawings in this. I want to see the full thing. Dang. Okay. So the main purpose of this one is just to compare and contrast the references, because I think I mentioned this earlier, but the audiobook mentions the Harry Potter references and the physical book mentions Harry Potter references. So dang it, I'm trying to clear off my desk a little bit too. It's more so just to compare those references once they pop up. So I think I'll have to double check where I'll have to double check with where I'm at in the audiobook and then line it up with this. That way it's a little bit easier to find the references once I get there. But those are what I'm borrowing currently, as well as Cabinet of Curiosities by Aaron Mahnke, and then Jubilee. And since I have 5 books currently borrowing from the library, I wanted to just make the comment that this video, I'm gonna make these two. I'm making these two a little bit more accessible since these are the ones of slightly more priority. This one's going on top. I just wanted to say, since I have 5 books, that the point of this isn't to read as many books as possible or do as much reading, or even to get all these done within the time that I have these books online. The point of this is to be, one, I mentioned this in my description, 1, borrowing from the library, supporting my local library. 2, more, that's part 1. Part of it is to be reading, but I would say the largest part is 1, borrowing from the library, 2, discovering new books and authors that I wouldn't have had access to otherwise. And I am trying to get a lot of my recommendations on social media, but these are books and authors I wouldn't have had access to otherwise without buying them. And then part 3 is, so I'm not spending too much of I'm not taking a financial risk with potentially buying books I'm not gonna like. So so that is like the biggest goal with this, and it's why I'm promoting this stuff, because like I mentioned earlier, I think I mentioned this earlier, in our current political, social, economic environment, we need to be conscious with our money and conscious with what we support. So that's the point of all of this. So I will be back to you when I have another update. So something I like about my current setup, as things are settling, something I do like is I have like my charging port thingy up on my desk, and it has like, I'll show you guys another time, but it has like the little outlets. Where's the thing? So it has the outlets for like an actual plug, and then it has the outlets for like this specifically, and like the USB-C as well. I need to plug this back in. And that means that I can charge my phone while recording, which could be useful depending on how things go. So I have an update for you all. First up, I finished Captain of Curiosities. I gave this a 5 out of 5 stars. Really fun, really interesting stories. I did find the audiobook in Libby FM, so I'm hoping to get that soon once I have another credit available. And then I did finish Red, White, and Royal Blue as well. I did refer to this when I was looking for the, oh, I still have the bookmark in here. I was referring to this when it was the different pop culture references, and I'm not like the biggest fan of either. I'm not a Star Wars fan. I'm sort of a Harry Potter fan, but I'm not supporting the turf. So it's like I'm not like the biggest Harry Potter fan though. If anything, I was more of a fan of Fantastic Beasts, but again, not supporting her anymore. So it was interesting seeing the different references between the physical book and then the audiobook, but enjoyed it. Gave it a 4 out of 5 stars. And I do not know which audiobook I am going to read now. Or I don't know which book I'm going to read now. There was a book that I like started reading, got an hour into the audiobook, and then I DNF'd it just because it wasn't a book for me. It was something like Burned Witches, Buried Women, or like Buried Women, Burned Witches, or something like that. I don't get triggered by a whole lot, but it was like a nonfiction memoir, and it was a little bit triggering for me. So I just was like, I'm not gonna put too much time. I'm not gonna put my time and effort and energy into this. So I DNF'd it like about an hour and a half in. But I do have, I'm blanking on what it's called, but I'll mention it next time, or at least when I finish it up, that I'm borrowing as an audiobook in Libby. So that is my update for right now. It's been a long day. I'm kind of tired. It's Friday, so yeah, I will figure out what book to read next, and then I will update you all with the physical book, and I will update you all with the title of the audiobook that I'm listening to as well. So I'll see you all when that happens. Okay, so I think I'm gonna end this video here. The title is gonna be misleading, but I'm not gonna worry about that. We got over halfway through the month, which I think is a pretty good accomplishment considering everything. And part of the reason why I'm ending this now is because I have like 2 other videos that I'm working on, and it's, for me at least, starting to get a little bit confusing. I organize it in a way so that I don't get confused, but you know, it still gets a little bit confusing. And, oop, that was one of my rings that I was trying to put back up. I try to organize my videos and clips in a way that it doesn't get confusing, but it still sometimes gets confusing and it gets a little bit overwhelming. So to give you the last update, or like the final part of the last update, because I don't have an update for you right now, or I don't have anything new that I picked up from the library, but I think Jubilee by, what's the author's name? Margaret Walker. I think I'm going to keep this one on my radar, but I'm going to return this. And again, I'm going to keep it on my radar, but I ended up having 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 books in total by the end of this video that I currently have checked out. And with all the other reading that I'm trying to do, it's a little bit overwhelming. So I'm gonna keep borrowing from Libby, but physical library borrowing, I'm gonna put on a brief pause for right now. I still might do like 1 or 2, but overall, like I said, I think this video was pretty successful. I'm going to return this one without reading it. It has an old book smell, which I love. I'm returning it without reading it just because, again, I'm just a little bit overwhelmed and clips are getting a little bit confusing, and I have a lot of other stuff that I'm trying to do, and while I want to read this isn't as high on the priority list. And then same reasoning with Erasing History, how fascists rewrite the past to control the future. Same reasoning as Jubilee. I want to read it, but a little bit overwhelmed right now. It's still on my radar, but it's on the back burner right now. And then I read Red, White, and Royal Blue. Enjoyed it. This was a fun read, and I'm glad I did it. I'll probably get the physical book at some point. I don't know if I'm going to get the audiobook or not, but I'm going to get the physical book at some point, which is so weird saying. I think I updated you all about Cabinet of Curiosities. Read it, enjoyed it, it was fun, and I was happy to find this in Libra FM, so I'm going to get the audiobook for this. I'll try to get the physical book as well, but Aaron Mahnke, the author, narrates the audiobook as well, so I'll be happy with the audiobook. And then I'm currently reading Buffalo Hunter by Stephen Graham Jones. And let's see, where am I with this? I'm at page 149. The thing is, I don't mind this. It's a little bit confusing. The thing is I don't know if it's I feel so stupid. I think I went into this book assuming it was fiction. It is fiction, okay. But then I was just like, I don't know if it's fiction or non-fiction. Because the main description of it is a diary written in 1912 by a Lutheran pastor is discovered within a wall. What it unveils is a slow massacre, a chain of events that goes back to 217 dead Blackfeet in the snow. Told in transcribed interviews by a Blackfeet named Goodsnab, who shares the narrative of his peculiar life over a series of confessional visits. This is an American Indian revenge story written by one of the new masters of horror. So it's I think I think like the description part of it is what started to throw me off. Like I went into it assuming it was fiction, and then I read the description and I was like, is it fiction or is it nonfiction? Which, you know, I kind of like that about some of these books, where it's like, it makes it engaging, and then it makes, for me at least, it makes me want to learn more about this and more about the people who were here first, were not illegal on stolen land. So this so far is pretty good. I'm not that far in. Again, it's like 600-ish, close to 700 pages. Close to 700 pages, and I'm only like 150 in. So we're having a good time. And that's what's important. So I'm going to try to return the library books tomorrow. I might include that. But I'm going to end this video here, and I will see you all. Thank you all for watching. I will see you all in my next